TheOneRing.net. TheOneRing.net. The One Ring. The coolest website for the Lord of the Rings. TheOneRing.net. Oh, sorry. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hobbit lads and lasses everywhere. This is Cliff, also known as Quickbeam, from TheOneRing.net. We're here tonight covering the 55th Annual Directors Guild Awards in Century City because Peter Jackson has been nominated for Greatest Directorial Achievement for The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
I want to hold it.
I don't have this job. I don't have this job. You interview me now.
Okay. As one of the webmasters for TheOneRing.net, Cliff, what are
I'm just a lowly slave.
As a lowly slave for TheOneRing.net, what do you feel it is that compels you to continue to focus such time, energy, and effort and passion of yours into this environment?
Because Star Wars is nowhere near as good as The Lord of the Rings.
Let's say.
Therefore.
Sorry. Check.
Therefore.
It doesn't have to be like one or the other. Come on, people. It's a big world. There can be two big franchises that we all love. If you don't like it as much, that's fine. Just don't bug me about it. Jeez.
Scene number 7?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on the relationship between Sam and Gollum in The Two Towers? There's very complicated levels, pathological levels between these two.
Well, I think Sam and Gollum help each other learn about themselves. But I don't think they'd be able to do it if it wasn't for Frodo. So I think it's very hard to talk. I don't know. I was in Texas, as you know, and was talking to a couple of people who were taking a class in Tolkien at a university or something in Texas. And
Texas A&M, right?
I was at Texas A&M, but there were some students there who had driven down from near Waco. And they were working on an essay, and I read some of their essay questions, and I thought, and I felt sort of, I was inspired by what they were doing, but I also felt as though I was incapable of, for some reason, I'm not sure, I probably just haven't put my mind on it in this particular way, but scholarly analysis, literary analysis, unpacking the ideas of it, somehow at the moment for me, because we're not 100% finished with the films, runs slightly counter to being anchored and invested in the character of Sam. So I certainly don't mind hearing ideas about qualities in the relationship or ideas about what Tolkien was trying to suggest about the nature of humanity through the different depictions of the characters. Yeah. But it's hard for me to cogitate on it in that way at this moment.
Because you're still actually in the process of creating Sam. Continually until the full final thing is done.
Yeah.
Now, as the evening is starting to wind down, we haven't even seen any sign of Peter Jackson, and we're not entirely sure that he's actually here tonight. But we hope he is. We'll let you know.
Jackson. Yeah.
How do you prefer to use camera work when you're trying to create such an epic film and then bring it down to intimate details at the same time?
Well, I think the book of The Lord of the Rings has exactly that quality. It has, Tolkien wrote a book which was epic in its sweep and spectacle, and yet it was very intimate in its storytelling and its emotions. And really, we've taken our guide from the book and tried to replicate that. You can't take a book and completely accurately transfer it to the screen, but we have tried to at least capture something of that quality which belongs to Tolkien. I'm sort of wanting to keep my eye on the ball, and I want to make the last Lord of the Rings film the best film. I want it to end with a bang, and so I'm in the middle of cutting The Return of the King. I actually just flew over from New Zealand this morning, arrived at 6 o'clock this morning, and I'm flying back there tomorrow. So I'm just sort of in the middle of working on the film, and I don't really want to be too distracted because I'm really enjoying it. It's my favourite of the three. Well, it's surreal. I mean, they're filmmakers that I've watched, it seems like my entire life. I mean, Chinatown, In actual fact, I mean, the Scorsese movies, Casino and Goodfellas, were sort of inspiration to me during the shoot, because I found that on The Lord of the Rings we were making all three films at the same time, and we were shooting for nearly 18 months, and I'd get exhausted, and I found that my imagination was kind of clamping up. And so on Sunday afternoons, when we had our day off, I'd actually put Casino and Goodfellas on TV to watch it, to remind me about what filmmaking is all about. It sort of reinvigorated me and got my imagination going, and so I actually owe Scorsese a lot.
Thank you.
And we're from TheOneRing.net, which is Lord of the Rings fan website.
Okay.
Here we are. And we wanted to ask you, how would you enjoy being involved if somebody proposed to you, this is a large, 3-picture, major franchise?
I'd love it.
Would you be involved in something that logistically huge?
Yeah, I would love it. That's a challenge. Yeah, but you know what Peter Jackson has done is it's like a new cinema in a way. It's really quite extraordinary. And, I don't know if I can get near what he and his collaborators were able to do with these films. It's really remarkable.
It would be wonderful to see you involved in a science fiction or a fantasy genre thing.
But I love him so much, I don't know if I could do them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marty.
I'm such a fan of Peter's work. It sounds kind of insincere in this context, but I've sort of seen everything he's done. And when I heard he was doing The Lord of the Rings and he asked me to be there for 3 weeks to play Galadriel, I was on the next plane. I think he's a genius. And to make one of these films, let alone 3 at the one time, I just think is unheard of, a phenomenal Olympic feat. He's a genius. So, yeah.
Well, Cate's great. She's just one of those completely dependable people who's a very hard worker, and you can absolutely rely and trust upon them. You know, it's for a director working for Cate means that you don't have to work hard, which I appreciate a lot. She's just so fantastic, and she doesn't need to be told what to do.